So I believe I worked myself around to the beaches again and talked about briefly visiting Malibu, but returning back to Santa Monica Beach, just down the coast from there. And that was such an enjoyable beach and beach area that I spent a lot of time there. But just south of Santa Monica is the Venice Boardwalk, the famous area where they have a muscle beach, a actual sort of outdoor gymnasium with weights and I think some gymnasium equipment, and big muscular guys would just go in there and do a bunch of reps and get all pumped up, and girls would flock around them. Beautiful girls everywhere, always in that area in Los Angeles in general. Beautiful women all the time. A lot of them got to be trying to break into the movies or the entertainment industry, but probably, you know, 100th maybe actually get into something. But they're just everywhere, beautiful women and beautiful cars and beautiful homes. I guess I didn't hang around in the poorer areas that much. Certainly when I was back toward downtown there were signs of street life and poverty, but I wasn't in particularly ritzy areas either. It just seemed like maybe people in that area, in Los Angeles anyway, took a bit more pride in their physical bodies themselves and or their property, their cars, their houses. I just didn't see much that was run down or looked beat up, or not even very many vacant buildings, though I'm sure they must have existed, but maybe I just didn't notice them. I noticed all the pretty ones. But all along Venice there were people rollerblading, and I think that was just starting out as a sport, but more than that there were people who were roller skating and or skateboarding. One particular guy that's kind of interesting is a black guy, probably his middle 20s, on roller skates, and he had like a car battery on his back in a backpack he had rigged, and from that he also, I think, had an amp somehow rigged, all hung like a backpack on his back, and a cord running from that into his guitar, which he had strung over his shoulders. And so he's playing all these great Hendrix riffs while he's roller skating and doing spins and pirouettes and stuff. And that was a lot of fun. He was really good. And you saw a lot of acts like that. A lot of people that had their own little kind of shtick that they were doing on skates, or just acrobatic skating in general, and bicycling and skateboarding and all kind of tricksters and stuff trying to do extreme before extreme occurred, before there was an extreme. This was early 80s, remember? The beginning of the Reagan years, and kids outside. And there were a lot of youngsters too, but most of them, I guess, were middle, early, young adults, 20s. But Venice Beach, a lot of artists too, art on the boardwalk, a lot of fitness craze, a lot of people on roller skates, and people watching, enjoying it and having fun. Occasionally run across people with guitars and whatnot, mostly acoustic. The Jimi Hendrix guy was a kind of exception, a specialized rig. But harmonica and more transportable acoustic instruments were common too. I remember playing guitar with another guy. It's his guitar. We'd swap it back and forth, and he'd play a song and we'd sing it, and I'd play a song and we'd sing it. I knew a lot of folk and rock songs at that point. And I remember sitting out on this little wall out in front of some apartments. I guess there were beachfront apartments there. And playing, I don't know, for an hour or two. And it had a small audience, maybe 10 people coming and going, who had stopped and listened to a song or two. And then the next day, I believe it was, I came back by there, or it may have been later that evening, and I noticed that one of the trash cans to one of the apartments, the lid was left off of it, and sitting there on top of the trash underneath, which I think there may have even been newspapers right there at the very top, was a plate with a nice ground beef patty, but it was just a homemade fat patty. And oh dear, one of them hurt themselves. I hear him crying out there. A nice ground beef patty and some sprigs of asparagus and I believe a baked potato. Sitting on a plate, just right on top of the trash can. It looked untouched, as though it had just been placed there. And I stopped and ate it. I stopped right there on the spot and ate it. And it was good. It was fresh. It had just been cooked. And all I could figure was maybe the guy, or whoever it was that was in the apartment there, may have been a woman, had enjoyed the music so much that they kind of left that out as an appreciation. I mean, I don't know if they saw me coming, or they might even have left it out for the other guy, or just for whoever. Or who knows what's the explanation. There were so many things that happened, I don't know how to explain them. But I really enjoyed that meal. That was wonderful. And again, see, it's just sitting on top. It's relatively fresh. I think the beef might even still have been a little warm. And had no signs of insect or infestation or anything. But Venice Boardwalk, that area, a lot of art studios. You'll see artists set up their own little area where they do portraits or just show their art. And then all along the beachfront there are studios that you can stop in and look at the art. And people kind of bohemian style, making living as they go. Pick up what they may, hand to mouth or whatever they call it, but a little bit of wheeling and dealing, and not typical workaday where it's dependable paycheck and all that. Requires a little extra doing. One of the kids may have really hurt himself. Probably not, but I better go check it. Thought I'd mention real quick, the child was alright. He was crying because one of the older kids was scaring him. But at the end of the Venice Boardwalk trip, I thought I'd mention that after I had found that really nice ground beef patty with the asparagus and the potato sitting, I believe it was in some foil on top of that trash can. It wasn't on a plate, it was in some aluminum foil. A few nights later I went walking by there and was looking in the trash cans, kind of hoping to repeat that, and I found some foil on top of one of the trash cans and opened it up, and it was chicken and rice. And it's kind of dark and all, but it looked okay, so I went ahead and took a bite, and it turned out to be wiggly rice, wiggly rice, wiggly rice. Not always a good idea to eat just anything you find in a trash can.